I've kept the good stuff about that, but I've had to change and be more receptive and soften my sharp edges, as you hear me say, which is you know, I had to get more feminine. I had enough masculine in me, but I think I should have was born male. But anyway, love it. 9:05. Welcome everybody.
We are recording.
Okay, thank you. So today we have Tash, beautiful Tash. They gave a wonderful, wonderful, what do they call it? Testimonial, a brain freeze, testimonial last week, and we really appreciate that. And I just wanted to change things so it's not always the same. You know, Joe says don't keep the structure the same all the time, change it around, change it up. And so I'm going to make one comment that really struck me about your testimonial, and then invite others to make comments about what really struck them about your testimonial. And what really struck me, and I did write it on the page, but I wanted to say it out loud, was you really knew what energy was. Like you really grasped it. And the areas that struck me about knowing the energy was that you saw your father's love in his eyes for you directly, despite his way of being, despite everything. And when he was sick and he couldn't speak, but you could feel it, and it was the energy. And just takes me back to what Joe talks about, the quantum physicist guys out there, you know, talk about we're actually a bundle of energy and we're just directed by thoughts. I mean, that's kind of, that's like blows me. We're only 0.0001 matter. The rest of us is all energy. And all that bloody 99.999% of us blob is actually through our thoughts, behaviors, and actions. So they can change. But you really were in touch with energy. And I felt it again at your point where you talked about you went to that seminar and you wiped the slate clean and you started a whole new thought process. That just really struck me. So those were the two things that really struck me. And I wanted to share that this morning, and then open the floor right now to anybody who would like to ask Tash a question or share what struck for them, or made a change, or landed this work, or whatever. So over to anybody who would like to speak. You got to take your sound off, sweetheart.
You're muted. Okay, guys, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I've known Tash. Hi, Tash. Since 2013, was it, darling?
Could be.
Yeah, around that time. And I've witnessed Tash on just the most incredible transformational journey. And you know, which started long before I met you with your ISA course and that sort of awakening experience that you had. But what I love about Tash is just, and you'll all agree, is just her incredible open-heartedness and the way that she handles emotion. She's very emotional, but you handle emotion like a child. You know, it wells up and then you let go of it and move on. It's so beautiful to witness, and just the light that comes out of your eyes. Yeah, you're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, massive feeler. You're such a feeler, and I love just your approach to life, the way you're feeling, you know, so intensely. And I also, with your testimonial, it just reminded me of how incredibly courageous you've been in the time that I've known you, facing your fear of public speaking. And I love that story that that you were crying in your first speech that you had to give at Toastmasters. God love you. Yeah, so I really admire that, and the way that you got that women's empowerment summit together, and you just bring so many women together and just nurture them all. Yeah, incredible. Yes, you really threw yourself into the unknown. Yeah, it was a huge undertaking, and I really, really admire that. So yeah, great to hear all your highs and lows again, and the beautiful story of you with your dad. That is just so profound, so beautiful. And the fact that your dad wasn't really an emotional communicator, but yet he transmitted to you, the love that he obviously had for you in the final time that you guys spent together. So special. So yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me think too, that first day when I was at Toastmasters, I remember being in my mind thinking, I'm going to cry, I'm going to be emotional. So I create whatever I think about, I bring about. So yeah, I find that awareness is so, and that's okay that I did that, that's okay. And I think sometimes I could do it differently, I can but it's interesting talking about emotions. I always pick a card for the day, and this is my card today, the Ace of Cups. So I don't know if anyone knows about tarot. It's a beautiful, loving, open, emotional energy. It's like, okay, that's today.
Love it.
Fantastic. And Ingrid, I love that you brought up about, he says something about emotions. He said emotions, he's not saying that emotions are good or bad. I think that that's really important. It's like we don't become non-emotional beings. It's just that what emotions are we living with? So, your tears, Tash, and all that, and like you call yourself this teary person, but those are good emotions. Those are joy, and that's how you express. Yeah. So I think that's a really lovely thing to because there is sometimes you could get a thing about, oh, okay, so if I take control of my emotions, then what do I become? This robot with no emotions? Yeah.
And that's the thing, we've all got different energy inside of us. Some of us are more fiery, some of us are more airy. Cindy, you're airy. You got a lot of ideas and thoughts going on, and I'm watery. I feel, and I love touch, and some people are practical and more earthy. So those elements, those energies that we all display, we're all different, and that's what makes the seasons and the universe. We are the universe, aren't we? So cool.
I loved what you said. Whatever we think about, we bring about. You just said that, and I thought, wow, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one to hang on to. It's a good one. There's so many from so many different teachers around the world. I love picking up quotes from different teachers, and the one I'm looking at now is love yourself enough to do it. Pull the mind out of the body. And this morning I thought, I don't feel like meditating, and I thought, hang on, change that, and I can make it really great. And I thought, I'm going to do Botex 7, Blessings of the Energy. It's a bit cold and early in the morning, and I want to get out of bed, and it's beautiful. You're in bed, it's a laying down meditation. I mean, it's great. So just change it.
Yeah, that's really great too.
And I think Joe spoke about too that, emotion is energy in motion.
Yeah.
And so energy is supposed to be constantly moving and changing. And therefore, if we're not emotional, we're actually quite stuck because we're not feeling and not allowing the energy to move through the body and to experience life. So we all feel
Definitely.
yeah. So I think that I call them the champagne bubbles, all those champagne bubbles in the body, and they just need to be constantly coming to the surface and expressing themselves, and then the new champagne bubbles come up and they express themselves. And as you say, sometimes they're fire, sometimes they're water, sometimes they're air, but it's about being human. And about your testimonial, what I know we've only had very small conversations about some of the things you've done with astrology, and but that part where you just said, I always wanted to learn this, so I went and learnt that. And then I thought, and then you said, oh, I always wanted to learn this, so I went and learnt that. I thought that was fantastic. You just went, it's all open to me. I can do whatever I like, and I can just go and learn this and explore that, take out of it what I love. And I thought that was courageous as well. And it was opening yourself up to, and you have such a gift when we have conversations. Some of the things that you tell me, I go, oh my God, that's like fried my brain. It's just the most extraordinary thing. And you line things up in a way that's unique to you. And you've got a lot that you've learned that you give out to others in a beautiful way. And I thought that came through in your testimonial as well. So thank you for that.
Beautiful. I think it's good to add too, with the champagne bubbles and the emotions, that it's the refractory period. So
yeah,
emotions are wonderful. Let's move them through, but let's not stay stuck in them. And that's when, I was thinking from chapter 3, how it goes beautifully into the biology of your emotions and what happens in the body. And the more that we stay in a particular emotion, we've created, like Joe's saying, the neural pathway for it, and it becomes stronger.
Yeah.
So the more that we think about things that annoy us, or we get stuck in that loop or whatever, it's yes, express it, but really be conscious about how long you're there.
Yep.
And are you doing something to express, release, and move on, rather than just stay in, the loop, which, our biology is wired to be a loop of whatever we want it to be. And it can be depression, or it can be, ease and happiness. It's I'm not making depression out to be a simple choice by any means, but I'm just saying, be aware of the loop that we're in. Yeah.
And I think as energy in the body, and we've got any pain or anything going on, it's just to know that it's feedback. What is that telling me? I've got that pain there. Where is it? What energy center is it in? Even talk to it, and it's not good or bad. And that's why I think the breath is really great to shift that. I have a bit of a pain in my back, and just doing the breath this morning, I can feel a shift, just really releasing that. So I just ask, what is that about? Am I backing myself up, or do I need more support in my back? Or it's just, there's something there. It's always, telling us something. I find that, the universe is just like it's a mirror of our subconscious. So whatever I'm looking for, I see what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for frustration, I'll get that back. If I'm looking for happiness and colour, I'll get that back. So cool.
I love that. And you had this saying, and you jumped out of bed every morning, you said, to change change yourself. I can't remember what it was. You know what? I'm happy.
That was my affirmation when I'd go walking every morning. I'm happy, healthy, trim and abundant, and only good comes my way. And I felt like it had already happened. I'd already seen it. And I think that's it. It's believing and feeling that it's already happened, whatever it is that your heart is wanting to create, what you're really felt to or called to, your mission or purpose. You know, I feel like it's got to be a strong yes. Otherwise, if you're thinking about it, it's a no. But yeah, I think that was my affirmation, and I had it programmed in too from that course to wake up, leap out of bed, alive and enthusiastic. And, you know, and it's like, what? You know, everyone's like, what? How can you do that? And I just thought, you know, I'm going for it. You know, at this course, I don't know. I'm just going to participate. The more I participate, the more I get out of life. And I thought, and I didn't know any. Knew one person there out of like nearly 100 people. I thought, I'm just going to go for it. And when you go for it, you get a lot.
I love that, because it takes me to that river of change. Like he says, when you make the choice that you're going to do something differently, all of your resistance is going to come up. Like he doesn't even say it may, he says it does. And I don't care what teacher you go to. Or I was reading the Course in Miracles this morning, and they call it the ego mind. And it says, don't even question. The ego speaks first and loudest. and then that intuition or that divine voice is actually silent, and you need to be in the stillness to hear it. So we often get led by that first thought or emotion right away. And I love that in the river of change. What resistances, what things do we come up with, what stops, and we all have excuses, or it doesn't feel right to me. I love it when he says that. It doesn't feel right to me because, well, we're so automated and everything's so familiar. And I can tell you when I was changing, and you might describe your experiences and other people here, if there's an aspect that I've tried to change, it damn well did not feel familiar when I started making the changed behavior. It didn't feel familiar, and I felt clunky. And I even felt stupid, like saying some of the words, so just trying them on. But I just became more and more, I started watching myself like a hawk. I study shamanism, and I did a clicker this morning. I'll just show you. I got stuck. One of the things we had to do was actually take a journey, and they locked you in a cellar for overnight, and you had to find out your magical, mysterious character. And of course, I'm scared as crap about small spaces, so it was one of the biggest things for me to do. And I came out, and I had to draw who I am, and that's what I drew. And I just noticed this morning that my hawk is sitting next to me, and I got to watch myself like a hawk.
Love it. Wow.
It does feel uncomfortable. And I think when you're uncomfortable, you're doing great, because you're going to have a breakthrough of some sort. I think you're going to break through. So it's good to feel uncomfortable. It's doing this, and I could feel a little bit of like some nerves, and that's great, because if I wasn't nervous, then something would be wrong. I think you got to have a little bit of keep me on my toes. Yeah.
I love that. Does anybody else have any questions for Tash and her beautiful testimonial? And I think she was a great example of energy, and what Glenda said about, when you just let it all go, and then you'd have a thought of possibility, and all of it would start to flow. I mean, that also describes working with the quantum field, working with the unknown. You weren't pushing it, you weren't trying, you weren't controlling it, you weren't, I didn't hear any of that language. I just heard, you had a thought, that's a possibility. I'm curious, I'm going to go do that. And it all just fell into place, particularly your large forum. And I don't think that was a small forum, that was big, wasn't it?
There was 60 women that were there, and that I got there in a couple of months. Yeah,
Yep.
about 2.5 months.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just from thinking that. So does anybody else have a question?
Having a vision of seeing.
You had, yeah, and when you're in the field, I think that's what he talks about, doesn't he? When you're practicing and going in and being stillness and all, the possibilities are out there, then they start coming to you. They start showing up. And it was kind of like what you posted online, that you're walking and doing your meditation, and there's Bowtech.
Yeah. Yeah. I nearly walked straight into it. I think we'll have to go there. We'll have to go there once this is, and connect. Have a meal or a coffee in Manly. Looks like a really nice place. It was so funny because I thought I've got to go in there and see, they must be connected to Dr. Joe, And I go, oh, you connected, associated with Dr. Joe with the Bowtech. She goes, huh? What are you talking about? Like, no. I'm like, oh, I love your place. It's a great name, very symbolic. You'll do really well.
And I think that's another point that I just wanted to, you're a great example of what he talks about, that what you start to see in the quantum, and when you're matching the frequency starts to speak back to you in synchronicities in life, like it reflects stuff back at you. And I remember we sat down and did the symbols on your Bowtech, and your top symbol was that Egyptian eye, and you didn't even get down the street, and you photographed it on a car, for Christ's sake.
Right in front of me was the Egyptian eye, massive sticker. I had to pull over and send it to Cindy and go, look what's looking at me. Oh, loved it.
And what I love is, if any of us needs a joyce of bubbling effervescence joy, just spend some time with Tash, okay? And get yourself out of a funk.
I tell you, I'm not always like that.
No, I know, but it's great. You really
We'd be
do.
worried if you were.
You've been spinning
Like, what's she
around,
on?
spinning around the universe, defying gravity. I just wanted to say that what struck me in your testimonial, Tash, was you gave us such a vivid, heartfelt, and very magnetic example of an elevated emotion, and to me that was beautiful. That came over you, and it was nearly visible on Facebook. I mean, on the live video. It was just incredible, and to me that's the power of elevated emotion, to really come really present in the body as well as in the mind and the heart.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I feel you probably have a very strong magnet. You know how Dr. Joe talks about reviving the magnet in the body to get that flow. And I imagine that's why you get those serendipitous events, is because you got this strong magnet happening, this strong field. So would it be nice to have a feel for it one day soon? I'd love to, meeting you in person. Yeah, I feel and maybe there's something about creating a forum where we can feel each other's fields and how they evolve, and I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about it. Maybe it's about having an elevated emotion for a week. I have a word for the week, and I do a daily gratitude with a girlfriend on WhatsApp, and we've been doing it every day for a couple of years since the event. And we start with something absolutely amazingly awesome is going to happen today, and I'm so happy and grateful for. And we give 3 things. And I find that when I do that every day, it elevates the emotion. So I did it this morning, and I was reflecting on yesterday about doing a meditation with Shelley, and I'm really grateful for her garlic prawns that she cooked, and just different things. And I find that having a word, maybe we can do that in the group, or focus on one word for the week, inspiration, or we can all have and then what comes out of it from the field, what are we drawing in from that word of inspiration, or yeah, we can play around.
Tash, you're the woman. You're going to do that for us each week.
Oh, okay. Love to.
Love it.
Step right into that one, girl.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Get Shelley to paint
Inspiration is this week.
it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that teaches elevated emotions, doesn't it? I mean, it's so great. I love it. Has anybody else got feedback for Tash or a question?
No.
Okay. Well, we're 9:30. I'm playing timekeeper today. So we keep this to an hour. So the last half hour, I just thought maybe we could rise up, and Marika's here. Now, honey, you can say no, that's fine. I didn't get, oh, you are, good. Marika, I wanted to ask you to share what you shared with me, if you're happy to. Marika had, he's new to Dr. Joe, and Marika had texted me and said, I'm having an issue with this guy's voice and I don't want to do his meditation. And, and I didn't say anything. And then she said, maybe we can have a conversation. And then overnight, I don't know what happened, sweetie, but you just sent a different text back and you said, I got it. So I want you to share the story.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, look, Cindy a couple of years ago suggested I look at Dr. Joe's walking meditation, and I'd never heard of the guy before. And I downloaded it. I said, sure, I downloaded it. And when I turned it on, I freaked. I just thought, there's no way I can sit and listen to this. This is like a space odyssey or something. It was just completely different to any meditation I had ever known. And I have to say, I still feel that way a little bit. I really struggled. I let it go. I put it down. I tried a few times and I put it down because I thought, well, I'll stick with what I like to do. So there were loads of other people that I follow, and I was doing their meditations. And what happened more recently Dr. Joe kept coming, his name kept appearing in different places in my life, and I kept hearing Dr. Joe. And I thought, okay, and when I heard about the book club, I thought, okay, well, this is too much. I've got to join up and see what this is about. And I really didn't know anything about him. But as I started to read about, well, what we're reading, the placebo, You Are the Placebo, it made sense to me. And it's beginning. This morning, I don't know if you all have struggled with him, but I've struggled a lot. And this morning I woke up and my head is doing its negative thing and saying, oh, you're being sucked in, Marika, you're being taken in again, once again, and the other side is saying, just hang in there. And so it's really good to be on here and listen to you all, because it helps a lot. And hearing your testimonials really, it helps me to understand and believe that this might be the real thing, even though, you know, I should know because what was happening, I began to do his meditations and I was really struggling with them. And I was doing the one about the mother, loving yourself, as even though I'm not a mother. So, but as a woman, I could ignore that mother bit and just hear woman, you know. And I started to do it. And slowly, I don't know what it was, a combination of things, but I felt the change. And I knew that change for me, because I don't like change, that it's a struggle. I'm going to battle with, whenever there's something new for me, I'm going to battle with it because I want to stay in my comfort zone, you know. So I thought, I threw myself into this thing this year, and lo and behold, there I was doing the meditation for a week, not even every day. And I woke up one morning and I thought, oh, you haven't had the vertigo for a while. What's going on? And the week before I had it, I was doing yoga and I had to drop to the floor. That's why I was so happy that I'm doing yoga at home and not at the studio. I've had really bad vertigo since the bushfires here at New Year. And I'd been to physios and doctors and back to the physio. And she said to me, oh, you'll have to come back and we'll have to try something different. But then the coronavirus thing happened, so I had to just learn. I thought, oh, well, you just have to learn to live with it and not drive when you're feeling particularly bad. And then after doing Dr. Joe's meditations for a week, my vertigo, or the vertigo, not mine, the vertigo, disappeared. So, and I haven't had a bout of it since, and it was pretty nasty, you know, it was pretty nasty. And my headaches are heaps better, much better, because I was a migraine sufferer in the old days, yeah. But I've had, you know, headaches and brain fuzz. So I don't know. And I did feel like electricity in my brain one day when I was doing the meditation. So I'm open is all I can say. I'm open, you know. Yeah. So that's that. Thank you very much, Cindy, and thank you everyone for all your input, because it keeps me coming back, keeps me listening. And I too asked my partner the other day, are you noticing changes in me at all? And he said, absolutely, huge changes.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm more compassionate. I don't snap. Yeah, I'm not snapping at him or my mother, who is the one person who can really get under my skin. I'm not snapping. I'm much more compassionate and kind with her. So,
Thank you
hope.
so much, Marika, for being brave enough to share. I did text her before this, and because she had been sharing, and I thought, it's up to you, honey. And then I just read your text and you said sure. So thank you for coming and telling us that. That is just so beautiful. And wow.
Thank you for the safe forum, because it feels safe. But,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love that you shared that, Marika. I'm sorry, I've got tradesmen here today, so I've got you guys also on my mobile. So when I split out a screen, I've still got you with me. So I heard everything you said, and I think that one of the wonderful things about coming into this work in the beginning, where you may feel like there's a brainwashing, or which I like what Tash said, which is washing the brain clean. There's nothing wrong with that. Is to trust yourself. You know, because often we think someone outside of us is affecting us, but at the end of the day, we have the ultimate choice to be where we want to be and to listen to what we want to listen. And if you trust yourself before you go into it, then you know that no one's doing anything to you. You're just opening up to some possibilities that you haven't seen before. So when I hear people say that, it's good to just go, I trust myself and my discrimination or my ability to critically think about this, and I can stop at any time and know that no one's doing anything to me. But when you're getting that kind of feedback that you're getting in your life already, I mean, wow, that's wonderful. I'm so grateful that you shared that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So true, Tracy. And I am looking at, we've got 20 minutes left, and what I thought we could do with these last 20 minutes is, can anybody bring up, Tracy started a little conversation on our page, which is wonderful, about what has touched you, inspired you, what have you taken from the chapter. And I'm going to let Tracy explain why she did that, because he does have a saying, and she came up with this idea, and I think it's brilliant. So over to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking about how we've got Cindy's amazing Saturday morning Facebook Live that just gives us so much information, and what she does is, I think we'll all agree, is phenomenal, how she pulls out these amazing key elements, and so grateful for her ability to see that and to pull these things out and help us to learn in new ways. And then we've got the Zoom, which is a beautiful discussion for a testimonial. But there hasn't been, I felt, a forum for us to start to wire in these new concepts by expressing them. So at a retreat, or if you ever get to watch any of Dr. Joe's retreats teachings online, he says, turn to the person next to you and explain. And the reason that he does that is, are you getting feedback from my phone at all? No? Good. I'm just going to shut the door because my phone's also on in the next room with this. He says, turn to the person next to you and explain. And the reason he says that is because he wants you to put it in your own language. Because we can read things over and over and over, and we can hear things over and over. And I know even with myself, after listening to that much Dr. Joe stuff on YouTube and his teachings in, you know, his little mini online things that he does, that I'm starting to kind of just get used to the words in his words and not my own words. And I thought there's so much value in explaining it from our level of understanding. For example, when I read in chapter 3 about the actual biology of how an emotion unfolds in the cells in our body. So the way that when we feel, say, anger or frustration, there's a message sent straight down to every cell in the body. And the messenger goes into the cell, goes into the nucleus, and that helps, it attaches on and unlocks the DNA for that particular emotion, which unfurls, revealing its recipe for the protein to be produced for frustration, anger, whatever that emotion was. Obviously, it works as well for gratitude, love, and all that. But when you're releasing those emotions, unfurls the recipe, produces the protein, and your body is flooded with the hormone of that particular emotion. And for some reason, for me, it went from knowing that how I think and how I feel affects my body to actually really getting the biology of it. And I thought, what I want to do is now express that in my own words to the group, so that I've really wired it in. So I'm wiring a new neural pathway. So that's why I thought, in a book club, you get together and you talk about different things and you get to share it with each other. And obviously we can't do that at the moment. So I invite you all. I'm going to put it up every time we start doing a new chapter. And if you're reading and then suddenly you go, wow, that's like a light bulb moment, I'm going to share that with the group, and I'm going to write it not how Joe has, but in my own words. And then we help other people. They go, oh, she sees it that way, and that's a bit different to the way I saw it. And yeah, I just thought that would be a lovely way to share and learn and wire it deeper.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
It's amazing that you say that, Tracy, because I find myself with Dr. Joe's work, like he uses the same phrases.
Yes.
And I find myself thinking I would love to hear this work in different words.
Definitely, yeah.
Just because if you're coming in from different angles, like on the same concept, but just different wording often triggers you to go, oh, that, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is awesome.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
exactly. That's beautiful. Because we start hearing things and then we're not really kind of getting it. We're just hearing the same thing and maybe it's not landing.
Yeah, it becomes habitual in a sense. Yeah.
The more points of view, the better. The more colourful the rainbow, the more.
Yeah, that's great. I've got a little Dr. Joe book, just a little notebook, and every so often I'll just write little key phrases of my interpretation of the way he's worded something, and then I just go back and I reread my own things. So this is a really good way of doing that. So yeah, that's great. Thank you. I like that a lot.
I'd love to hear some of those, Glenda.
Yeah.
Glenda.
I have a whole little Joe book. A Glenda Joe book.
Get one. I have to get one.
Oh, I've got a good Glenda Joe book. Oh no, here.
Diary, yes.
Look.
I can't see it. What does it say?
It's a man with his head with butterflies coming out.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Unlocking,
beautiful.
unlocking the brain.
Love it.
Oh, I love it.
So I think that was a perfect initiative, and we've got another initiative of a word to get an elevated emotion and really invite people to open this up. It's your forum, you know, and to make it what you want it to be. And the other thing that I was talking about, Trace, is that I'm just exploring, and I'm gonna put that with a conversation with Glenda and then come back on how we do this diary. So I will type up the pages and make it a PDF kind of document you can print and work with, because it repeats itself. So it's a very easy document to just create and print for your own self. But then I'm curious about discussing as a group how we move forward with that, because it is different, and I'm not sure how to do it. And I think we're making this up. We're going along the way to make this up and how we can use this tool, because he doesn't really go into this, but it is a great tool and it's his. But you know, let's just see what we want to do with it, because then it becomes more active, it becomes more personal. We personalize it, we apply it more. And that's when the change I know happened for me, is when I personalize it. And like you said, use my own language, but then have a go at changing something and see what happens. Yeah, and know where I want to go, and then having that. So I'm going to wind up so that you can get on with your day, unless anybody else has anything they'd like to say before we wind up the call. I am aware, and I'd like feedback this Saturday. I am going to just talk about that diary and what it is and pre-send it on Friday and not move into the next chapter, because I am aware that there's a lot of new people that have come on, and I want to give them the time to read up to chapter 3. But this diary really enters at a good point on that river of change. And, you know, when is there a right time? So I just thought, let's just do it. And I know Glenda's chomping at the bit. So Just bloody do it. So Glenda's going to help me structure how this looks.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yay!
If you didn't know, you know now, Glenda.
You know now. No, love
Oh,
you too.
Cindy mentioned it 6 months ago. I think I've been very patient.
I have been very patient. And now I need your help on the structure. You and Sandrine, I think that would be perfect.
Can do that.
So I think that, is there anything that anybody wants to bring up now before we end the call? But thank you for coming on today. I think always there's these wonderful gems that come out. But would anybody else like to say anything else?
I'm not sure. I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to push a button and see what happens.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You.
Can hear you.
Oh, great. There we go. Inspiration. Push a button and see where it goes. You guys are just amazing. Sharing all this is really fabulous, and it's giving me courage. It's instilling a lot of the stuff that I've been reading with Dr. Joe. I'm just really heartfelt about being part of it.
Yay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
What's your name? I can just see chickens.
Oh, okay. It's Claire,
Ah, awesome.
or commonly known QC, which is Quirky Claire.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Quirky Claire.
Oh, good. Yeah, very good.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'd like to say I am ecstatically happy to be part of this group, to have found you guys. And thank you so much, Cindy, for all the effort you put in.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Just a dream come true. So I'm over the moon. It's amazing. And it's really upping my Joe game. I can tell this is really gonna, we'll be on a fast track.
Yeah.
Really gonna take it up a notch. So amazing. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
and what I love is how this is evolving, because all I end up doing is giving a structure. And what I'm really, really excited about is how everybody's stepping in, and it's evolving to what, many of us take roles, and many of us, and everyone participates, because it's all I'm giving you is a structure. And I had to up level myself, because I had no idea about Facebook or Live or anything. Oh God, and I still haven't done Zoom, I know, Tracy, but it's just like been an opportunity to push me well out of my comfort zone. And but I'm so enthusiastic about the testimonials, the people that you show up, who's taking on components. I mean, I think that's what it is. That's what he calls, we're one. And we're one organism, and we're just moving one together, and it's just so beautiful. It's just really lovely. So thank you for taking the time to come on today. Thank you, Tash, for your testimonial. Thank you, everyone, for being here. All the input. We got some exciting, juicy new things, and I'm on 9:53, honey.
We're so on time. It's amazing.
Okay.
You go.
So thank you, everybody. Have a good week.
No.
Yes, bye.
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 I'll load it up soon, the recording of this meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
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 Fiona.
Bye.